I'm just testing this. Let's see if this stays.
Obviously not.
I'm gonna go here for now.
Just on my way to work out with Gerv, he's my personal trainer. But I wanted to shoot this video to practice or recite the cognitive biases that Charlie Munger so often talks about. There's 25 of them, and they're really important because one of the most important ones is the bias called Lollapalooza, the Lollapalooza effect, which means it's basically the multiplicity of the biases stacked on top of each other. And so when those things are stacked on top of each other, they multiply, not add up. So for example, in an auction, you have multiple biases acting upon you. There's the authority bias because the auctioneer who's selling you the stuff is on stage, kind of elevated up, so he's got a status. So he appears to be bigger, and we tend to have a bias for authority. We tend to be more obedient to them. I don't know the correct word. It's not respect, it's called something else. Starts with a D. Can't remember the exact word right now. But we tend to obey authority. If someone came up to you wearing in a police uniform, you'd more likely obey or respect them than if they were just some random guy with in like jeans and a wife beater. So there's the authority bias that's acting on you, selling to you on top in the stage for an auction. Then there's social proof, because there's other people that want to buy what that person's selling, and they're all facing the same way, they're all listening, they're all acting in a particular behavior. That's huge. Then there's also what is it? Deprival superreaction syndrome, which is huge. I've actually had that happen to me, but it was something that I never even got. I was basically gonna go into I was gonna split the profits with someone in a business deal, but then we agreed to 50-50, but then he thought about it some more and then he took it back. So because of that, I felt really really hurt, and I felt like I was owed that emotionally. I knew logically that like he had every right to call the call he made, but it still had a pretty big effect on me. Like for someone who logically knows that I didn't deserve it, and not that I didn't deserve it, but I didn't show anything for him to let me into that deal like that. So I felt kind of down for about a half a day, but that goes to show like how strong that is. Even if you logically know it, it makes sense to you perfectly, you can understand, and me and him are really good friends too. So I never felt anything bad towards him, but I felt kind of like betrayed in a weird way. So that's a super important one, and that one is actually that's not super deprival that's super deprival reaction syndrome. So when the person is giving it to you, and then you bid and you think for like a split second that you have it because no one else is bidding, and someone outbids you, well, you feel like you wanna, because you had it and then it got taken away from you, so you want to pay more money to get it again. That's another influence, that's another bias that's acting on you. Another one is stress-inducing tendency, which means when you raise the stress, you cause people to do really stupid things. In an auction, there's a kind of a countdown. The auctioneer goes, going once, going twice, going 3 times, and that just, like, when you're in that situation, you're torn because you really want to buy whatever he's selling. So in that situation, him counting down is causing you more stress because now you have a timer on how long you get to think about purchasing or bidding on that. And especially if you're, like, even if you're the winning bidder, or you're the winning bidder at that time, if he goes going once, going twice, that's creating more stress in you because you're like, oh man, what if someone raises their hand and bids me higher, then I'm gonna have to go again. So then you're already planning those things out in your head. So those are some of the biases. There's other biases called, like, Kantian fairness, which means everyone has a sense of fairness. For example, if you see, like, an old grandpa and, like, a huge build, like, gangster kind of guy in line, the big guy's not going to push the old grandpa out of the way because he has a sense of fairness. Even though he's big and tough, he appeals to that. And you see that all in communities and in relationships and in friendships and in school. Like, people really appeal to that. Like, and maybe not back in the day, but if there was something that happened unfairly or unjustly, let's see, if you're in the cafeteria and you cut in line, then people are going to get really mad at you because that's not fair. It's not fair that you're cutting in line when everyone else is waiting. So they feel a great justice and want to get back at you or do something so that it's more fair in their eyes. And that's what a lot of big companies do too, because they appeal to that. They donate to charities like McDonald's, as Ronald McDonald McHappy Day, where percentage of the proceeds go to the Ronald McDonald House for a good cause. So people might be like, oh, that's a bad company, like their food is terrible, it's so shit, it makes you fat and all that. But then they donate and they're like, oh, maybe they're not so bad. So you can apply Kantian fairness. Another one is misweighting bias, which basically means that we have a tendency to misweight what's actually valuable or important. So we don't have a good sense of what's important or what's not. I don't have a good example for that yet, but I just remember it. Another one is simple pain avoiding psychological denial, which is, if you want a good example, look at any mother of a psychopath, or some mothers of a psychopath, or any mother who's lost, well, not any, but there's some mothers who lost their only son, their most beloved, and they just simply deny it. Like, there was a good case example back when one of the mothers lost her, I think it was like a professional athlete's son, he was a professional athlete and he died in a plane crash, and she simply denied it and kept denying it even though the evidence was clear that he died in a plane crash and all the other victims were announced. She just assumed that he's taking an extended stay at Bermuda or wherever he was going, and that he'll be back someday. So that's called simple pain avoidance tendency. So with that, how you can apply it, even in a business setting, is people will deny their pain. And you can use it really unethically too. For example, if you want to, that's why scams like pyramid schemes are so why they're still around, because they appeal to the pain. You want to deny that you have to put in hard work, or you want to deny that you're really fat. So they say, here's a simple pill, take it, and in 7 days all your fat will be gone. You'll be skinny, healthy, back to normal. And so they prey on that. So you're avoiding it. You're using pain avoidance, and then you're falling into their trap of their money scam or their fat loss scam. Another one. One of the biggest ones is reward/punishment. I forget the exact term. Reward/punishment tendency. What's it called? Reward. Anyways, it's the one that's most often forgotten, but one of the most powerful. Which means, and it's really easy, but incentivize to people what they want to their wants, not what is justice. An example he gave was there was this one friend talking to another friend about unlawful acts of something. It was like in the company what was happening? In the company, someone was doing something unethical. And so they told him that, look, you know what you're doing is wrong, stop it. But if he said instead was, look, what you're doing is going to ruin your legacy. Your family's going to be ashamed of you. You're going to lose everything you've built up for. And he appealed to his needs and his wants and his desires, he would have stopped. But because he just appealed to justice or the greater good, he kind of brushed it off. And then in the end, he did get penalized, and he went through lawsuits, and it was terrible. And his family suffered. But if he appealed to his needs and his wants, that would never have happened. Reward/punishment. If you incentivize people to do things, you reinforce good behavior. There's another good example of a sales company. They had, I think it was a printer company. I can't believe I forgot what the name was. Huge printing company, and they're basically selling 2 models of a printer to different businesses. And for the longest time, they were really confused because they couldn't understand why the old machine was outselling the newer machine. And when they looked into it, they realized that it's because that you got more money on the older machine. So they had to, and they wanted to sell more of the newer ones. They just made the commissions less appealing to them, to the people who were selling the printers. So what they had to do was they had to switch it. They had to make it more appealing to sell the new machine rather than the old machine by giving better commissions or more features or better process to work with. But it was basically came down to reward. You got more reward for selling the old machine than the new machine. So that's a really big one. Another really big one is liking and disliking bias. It's a tendency to favor and hold true what anybody you like says and disregard everything that someone you don't like says. For example, if we were to take Mother Teresa or someone more new, Oprah Winfrey, everyone loves Oprah Winfrey, and you take someone like Hitler or Donald Trump. Donald Trump is split, but I think universally everyone hates Hitler or doesn't like him. If you put them two in a room and Hitler is saying 2 + 2 = 4, and Oprah Winfrey says 2 + 2 = 5, most people, and I'm using a very simple case, but what's true is true and what's not true is not true. Easy as that. But because it's Hitler that's saying the truth, we are more prone to disregard what he's saying and ignore it because we don't like him. Whereas if Oprah Winfrey was saying 2 + 2 is 5, which is false, we tend to give her a slide and believe what she's saying just because we like her. So, liking and disliking bias is huge in business too. And that's why you want to be more like a chameleon. There's a really good guy back in the, I think, 17th, 18th century. I forget his name, but what is his name? I keep forgetting these things, and I think I should know his name. Anyways, he's known for being good with the ladies, but he wasn't only just good with the ladies. He was really good in politics. He knew a lot of the high-level people. And he called it the chameleon effect. So he could easily wear many different hats and bond with people in different ways. And that's what led him to gain such great power and authority. So it's that one. Liking, disliking. What else is there? Envy, jealousy. So people have a tendency to be envious or jealous of other people or other things that they like. So you can use that too, for greater good or worse. And it's up to you to use it ethically, but if you appeal to someone, like you're selling high-end luxury products, you want to appeal to those who appeal to those who are, envious, and you can use it unethically and ethically. Ethically if you have a good product to sell. So those are the ones for now that I can talk about. I'll talk to you about other ones later on. Bye.